There's a very important space for everyone, I mean, like including families, clients, and also the mental health professionals here, where we can share our individual experiences and life experiences. Correct? So, over this course of the program, we will be exploring key insights about mental health and also share our experiences reciprocately. Before starting the program, I like to give a disclaimer. Disclaimer is that every individual experience with mental illness is unique, and family dynamics may vary widely based on cultural, social, and personal factors. The goal is to promote understanding and reduce stigma, not to place blame or judgment on individuals or families. So today's presenter, we have three counselors. First is Ms. Ruchi, then we have Ms. Pooja and Ms. Anusha. So these three other will be the presenter, and IG, Psychiatric Case Manager, will be the moderator for the session. Thank you for the cooperation. I hope this will be an informative session for everyone. Thank you. I'll pass on to the presentation. First, I'd like to see one of the role play presenting by the nursing students. There's a short role play, after that we'll be starting with the session. Is that fine? Yes? Yes. Thank you.
Dania, a 24-year-old engineering student, has recently been diagnosed with schizophrenia after showing symptoms of unusual suspiciousness, withdrawal from others, and hearing voices. Her family has just been informed by the psychiatrist. In this scenario, it shows the parents struggle to understand the illness. Dania's parents, who has little knowledge about mental illness, refuse to accept the reality. They believe that it is just stress and bad behaviors. Dania, on the other hand, feels frustrated and heartbroken. She tries to explain that this is a medical condition, but her efforts are met with disbelief and anger. She feels alone, confused, and deeply hurt by her parents' reaction.
क्या हुआ? खाने में कुछ हो गया, डॉक्टर बोल रहा था उसको साइकियाट्रिक यूनिट से। क्या हुआ? कौन क्या बोल रहा है? डॉक्टर बोल रहा था उसको साइकियाट्रिक यूनिट। क्या होगा उसका? दिमाग है क्या? बोल तो रहा था, डॉक्टर ही बोल रहा था ना, वो कैसे शादी करेगी? ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, पढ़ाई की वजह से वो ड्रामा कर रही है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता समझी? मुझे डिस्टर्ब मत करो, जाओ यहाँ से। हाँ, मेरा बात तो कोई नहीं सुनता है। नोबडी लिसन माय वर्ड। क्या हुआ कभी? हमारे पास आप सुनते नहीं हैं, सुनते क्या करेंगे? हमारे बात करती है। अब क्या हुआ? पापा एक बात प्लीज बात सुनिए। बोला तो एक बार क्यों ऐसा नहीं हो? एक बात तो सुनिए। अब बताओ क्या हुआ? हम लोग ऐसे ही रहो नहीं कर सकते तानिया को, उसको ट्रीटमेंट की जरूरत है। क्या जाती हो उसके बारे में? मैंने उसके बारे में पढ़ा है और उसका ट्रीटमेंट होगा वो ठीक हो जाएगी। ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है समझिए। आप एक बार देखिए तो तानिया को देखिए कैसे कर रही है, देखिए। पापा देखिए उधर कोई है। कुछ नहीं है वहाँ पे। उधर है कोई। आपको क्यों नहीं समझ में आ रहा है? इधर कोई है, देखिए। बात खराब मत करो, कुछ नहीं है वहाँ पे। बार-बार बोल रहे हैं तुम इधर से जाओ। कौन बोल रहा है जाने? इधर है पापा, क्यों कुछ नहीं है वहाँ पे। इधर है पापा, देखिए। अरे अब कुछ नहीं है, मैं देख लिया ना, कहाँ कुछ है यहाँ पे बताओ। आप उसमें क्यों विश्वास नहीं कर रहे? क्यों आप समझने की कोशिश नहीं कर रहे? कुछ है ही नहीं। अगर आप इसको नहीं भगाओगे तो मैं फंस नहीं जाऊंगी। जाओ यहाँ से, दिमाग मत खराब करो। सब दिमाग खराब कर रहा है।
As you can see, the family struggles with denial and stigma. They are more worried about what relatives and neighbors might say, and how this will affect Daniel's chances of getting married, and the shame they believe this illness will bring. In this scenario, it shows the social barriers and stigma that surrounds mental illness in many families. Instead of focusing on Dania's health, the family is more focused on societal opinions. This prevents them from seeing the illness clearly and delay getting proper treatment.
हाँ, इस घर पे तो मेरा कुछ कोई सुनता ही नहीं। पति को भी मैं ही संभालूं, बच्चों को भी मैं ही देखूं। तो अपने आप को संभालना। अब क्या हुआ? क्या कर रही हो? देखिए यार, दाने को कुछ हुआ है। अरे बताया तो कुछ नहीं हुआ है। ड्रामा कर रही हो। ड्रामा कर रही हो, कुछ नहीं, ड्रामा कर रही हो। कुछ हुआ है उसको। मैं बताया तुम्हें ड्रामा कर रही है, सब कुछ नहीं है,
पढ़ाई की ओर से भाग रही हो, समझी?
तो तुम बोल रहे पढ़ाई की ओर से भाग रहे हो, तो हम लोग पढ़े
तो
लिखे
क्या?
हैं, पढ़ाई के लिए।
कुछ नहीं है, उसको देखो तो वैसे ड्रामा कर रही पढ़ाई की वजह से, तुम्हें पता है क्या?
तो हम ठीक है, हम लोग पढ़े लिखे नहीं बताए।
अरे कोई पड़ोसी क्या टेंशन ले रही है, पड़ोसी क्या करेगा नहीं करेगा, जो करना हम लोग करना है ना।
तो उसको फ्यूचर में भी देखना है ना।
अरे फ्यूचर तुम अपना फैमिली रेपुटेशन बचाओ, फ्यूचर का कुछ सोचना नहीं है, समझी?
हाँ, ठीक है, हम लोग देखेंगे। सुनो मम्मी, पापा, एक बार बात सुन लीजिए।
बोलो क्या हुआ?
अगर इसका है ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है, लोग उसके बारे में क्या सोचते हैं, अगर ये आप सोचेंगे कि वो उसको लास्ट में बहुत असर करना पड़ेगा, तो हम लोग ऐसे फाइट नहीं कर सकते लोगों के लिए, क्या लोग उसके बारे में क्या सोच रहे हैं। आप समझिए, उसको ट्रीटमेंट की जरूरत है, उसको ट्रीटमेंट अच्छा होगा और ठीक हो जाएगी। उसको एक साइकियाट्रिस्ट की वजह से मैंने उसके बारे में पढ़ा है, डॉक्टर से दिखाते हैं एक बार।
ठीक है देखते हैं इसके बारे में।
आप लोगों को क्या लगता है मैं आपके ऊपर बोझ हूँ? क्या लगता है आप लोगों को मेरे दिमाग में हाथ है? इससे अच्छा तो इसमें घर में मुझे कोई समझने वाला ही नहीं है, इससे अच्छा मैं इस घर छोड़ के चली जाऊँ।
नहीं तान्या, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, हम लोग सिर्फ डर रहे हैं।
आप छोड़िए मुझे, आप भी मुझे समझने की कोशिश मत कीजिए। कोई नहीं समझता इस घर में मुझे।
नहीं तान्या, ऐसा कुछ नहीं, हम लोग सिर्फ थोड़ा सा डर रहे हैं, इसीलिए वो कर रहे हैं, कुछ नहीं।
ठीक है देखते हैं।
The family finally agrees to meet a therapist to better understand Danya's condition. In this scenario, the therapist patiently explains that schizophrenia is a serious but a treatable mental health condition. With the right support, medication, and therapy, people can live a fulfilling life. The therapist also addressed the myths and misunderstanding the family had, helping them understand the situation more clearly. Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. Deepak. Please have a seat. How can I help you today?
और इसको कुछ दिखाई देता है, कोई इसको परेशान कर रहा है। हम लोगों ने लोकल सेक्रेटरी को दिखाया था, ये रहा रिपोर्ट, एक बार देख लीजिए।
ठीक है। क्या हुआ तान्या?
मुझे कोई दिखाई देता है, लगता है मेरे सामने कोई है, उससे बात करना चाहता है, बहुत सारा आवाज आती है।
Where do you feel you get those voices from, Tanya?
मेरे सामने से मैं आती है, लेकिन दूर से ऐसे ही आती है।
ठीक है। Tanya, can you please go and wait outside for a while? I'll talk to your parents for some time. ठीक है? See, Mr. and Mrs. Deepak, your daughter has been diagnosed with schizophrenia. This is a psychiatric illness where she will experience hallucination and delusions. Example, she will hear voices which are not present in reality. Mr. and Mrs. Deepak, I understand your fears, but psychiatric illnesses are like any other health conditions. With management, many patients can be managed by medications or psychotherapy. The earlier you accept her conditions, the better for her progress. Yes, management is possible, though it may take time, and support from family is crucial. Instead of thinking about reputations, think about Tanya's future and her well-being. Your acceptance is the first step.
What other people will say about it?
Many families go through this as well. But by standing by Tanya, you are showing society that the passion is stronger than judgment.
सुनो मम्मी पापा, अगर हम लोग साथ मिलकर उसका हेल्प करेंगे, सपोर्ट करेंगे, तो वो ठीक हो जाएगी। उसको ट्रीटमेंट की जरूरत है, आफ्टर मेडिकेशन वो ठीक हो जाएगी। ओके मैम, थैंक यू।
Slowly, the family begins to accept the illness. Their thinking starts to shift from fear and denial to support and hope. In this scenario, it shows a turning point in the journey. The family starts learning how to support Danya emotionally and practically. They begin to talk openly, listen to her more, and encourage her treatment. Danya feels heard and less alone.
मुझे तो कुछ समझ में आ नहीं रहा है, बट देखते ट्रीटमेंट करा के अगर सही होगी तो उसका सपोर्ट किया जाएगा। ओके?
हाँ तान्या, हम लोग देखेंगे अब पहले तो हम लोग सोसाइटी के बारे में ज़्यादा सोच रहे हैं, अब तुम्हारे बारे में सोचेंगे। From now on we have to think about it.
थैंक यू। दिस वन इज बेटर। मैं भी सबकी तरह जीना चाहती हूँ। तुम गुड एक्सपीरियंस मेरे साथ। हम लोग सपोर्ट करेंगे, ठीक हो जाएगी।
हम लोग सब लोग साथ में ही रहेंगे, तो साथ में ही सब लोग
The journey of acceptance is never easy. Families may first react with fear, denial, and stigma. But with awareness, open conversation, and professional support, they can move towards hope, compassion, and healing. In this message, we are reminded that mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of. Understanding and accepting make all the differences, not just for the person diagnosed, but for the entire family.
Acceptance is the strongest medicine a family can give. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope you got an understanding of today's topic. So before moving into the topic, we'll be doing a short icebreaker session. Okay, so I'll be explaining. So this is an icebreaker session which is called Rose, Bud and Thorn. So I'll be placing the placards in front of you. You have to take each placard. For example, if you are picking Rose, you have to share your positive experience in your treatment journey. So you can share your own experience. If you are picking Thorn, you can share your difficulties or challenges which you face in your treatment journey of your family member. And this is Bud. You can share your expectations or the place where you need some improvement. Okay, so I'll be placing it in front of you. You can share your experience by selecting the cards. So it is full and full non-judgmental, and we won't blame anything. It is aimed to promote some understanding about acceptance. So you can share your own experiences. Anyone? Or the challenges where you find it very difficult to reach the level of acceptance. Anyone? Yes, please.
So, not necessarily here. So that's why I spoke with that. So from the beginning itself, he's not able to accept that whatever happens in paper finance. So because he is a science student, so he knows about the side effects also, what the habits is taking, everything he knows that. So right now what he's telling is because of taking practice and I'm getting all the side effects. But he's never accepting what I have received. So I had discussed one discussion with her, and she explained what was the show, what was the show, the here, what, everything she explained in one thing. I could not able to accept that. Right now, when I watched this, I could not be able to bear it. So that's why I went out and came back. So, in their perspective, once I said those things, if you are thinking in that, you need to think about how if we hear that 100 people are there, 100 people are continuously telling this, some good things. So then I realized it is not easy, you can't easy just give advice and then take it. So what the way they are hearing is totally different, from other world is totally different. We need to accept it, but only thing is we need to try to compromise them. This is a big difficult part, but still we need to do it and we need to moral support. It's the only thing we can do it. So that is a good experience I have. And then still, just before I was discussing with her, she said, I have everything. I said, you can come tomorrow. She wants to come tomorrow. So I said, see, we are ready to take it. But every time almost 5 times more than that we took out. And within 1 month she stopped the tablet. And then really aggressive. And then she stopped everything. And then we had issues, other programs. And then after that we did not have it. So I said, I explained everything. This is what you are doing. Then she said, see, I have only sugar diabetes. I will take it. That is the only way she is coming. But the other tablet is going to be a tablet. She said, that is because of she had side effect of hand. Because I am seeing other people's it. So she is saying that. Still she is not even accepting it. But still in their world, so our family is a very big family. So he is thinking that all family members are there, no one is taking care of it. Something like that. But we are ready to do it, but still we have facing issues whenever we getting out. So that's the one thing is I can't be able to change it till now. And other things, yeah. So sometimes, I mean, if you right now talk to her, you can't be able to say that she is a speaker. Because still she will remember a lot of things, and whenever she is asked, okay, that day we went, all these things, every answer will know. Even here also, lot of times doctors also said, yes, she's not, looks like a, she can around say stage 4, nothing issue with that. But still, those are my experience in things. Thank you so much.
No, I'm very happy to be here with people who are facing a problem like we do. Because my sister's child was born after 50 years of marriage and 20 years of normalcy, 17. It was a very big shock for us. But the fact that we need society to accept, we need people to be by your side, and ultimately it is a very human thing. And public education is very important in this field because we tend to cover up things and we are always on a denial. And to tell the people, see, this is normal, it can happen with anyone anytime. It is part of us, okay? It's part of us. Let's all cooperate, and then we are no people which you know have turned out to be very brilliant in various other aspects of life. And why not we look at the positive things and bring them out? And I think the role of the counselors and an organization like this is tremendous. Yeah, so this is that we are doing an icebreaking session. So families have to share their positive experience. So if they are taking those, they have to share their positive experience throughout the treatment journey. So if you are picking thorn, you have to share the challenges which you face. And if you are picking bud, you have to tell out the expectations, so which you want in the treatment process. So you can tell by picking anyone. So would you like to share? Okay. So anyone? This side?
Hello everyone. So my father is a bipolar patient. So we got him admitted on July 1st. So from the beginning, the treatment journey has been very different in Cadabam. So earlier we were getting him treated in Imhans. So there, although the medicines were like given properly, but the nature of admission, the entire process from the start of admissions was very difficult, especially. But here, the good things that I have observed is the patient is not given the mobile from the day one of the treatment, which is very important, especially in my father's case. And also, all his money was taken away on the day one. So certain things were taken care in the admission itself, where we felt that the processes were good enough and he is still recovering. So this illness is a like long illness, like chronic illness. He had this bipolar disorder when he was 25. So right now he has turned 70. So it's a very difficult journey for the entire family, for myself, my brother and my mother and all the family members. We go through when we get the episode. But but when we get to know that there is a treatment available, and it's only that the patient has to be taken to the hospital at the right time. So we also took care of the assisted admission process because my father was not willing to join the hospital. So these are some of the processes which I feel are really needed for the family members, like the assisted admission or like taking the mobile away and the money away. So many things happen. And he is on the way to recovery. So thanks for everything.
So acceptance and greed. So how can we connect acceptance and greed? So basically we can't reach the acceptance just like that. It doesn't happen suddenly because Sarah has mentioned that there is a denial. So initially obviously what we will do, we'll deny. So we never accept. So there are certain stages to reach the acceptance. So in that first stage is denial because we will feel that it is a journey. So right in the beginning there is no acceptance. Because it like what we feel, the people who are, like for example, there's a son. So my son is not like this. He used to study well. But all of a sudden he's behaving in an odd way. So you should not consider it is his laziness because of some stressful situation it's like that. So no need of any treatment. So we should not deny it. So we have to understand what is actually going on. Because the person who is there, so for example, if I'm having fever, I know what I'm doing with. Because people might think she's doing drama, so just acting. But only the person who suffers, they know what actually going on. Okay, so we should have that. And also, why it is connected to grief is like acceptance. It is not just dealing with symptoms. It is a kind of loss. Loss in the sense, loss of unhealthy self. So when a person is normal, we'll feel like my son used to do like this to me. He used to come and play things, play cricket or something. But once the illness, he gets affected with illness, obviously what he'll feel, he'll be isolated. So we'll be worrying about it. There will be a loss of oneself and there will be a loss of social connection. So when there is any gathering or something, the family member will feel very bad. Why he is not engaged? Why he is shutting down in the door, inside the door, inside the room? Why he's not coming out? We'll have that thought. So there will be a loss of one's expectation, loss of hope. So I can't do anything. That's all. The life is done. So we should not have that kind of thoughts. When grief is connected to acceptance, all these thoughts will be there. Okay. So it is a grief cycle. It was described by a psychologist called Kubler-Ross. He described these stages of grief. So the first one is denial. As I mentioned, you might have all reached that stage, that's right? Denial. So it is not true. It is not true. This is some mistake. So the first stage, denial. So the second step is anger. So when you want to know your family member is affected with something, what you do, you get frustrated. Why it is happening only to me? Somebody did this to me. Because usually people have this feeling, they have some delusions. Somebody is doing some harm to me, some suspiciousness they will develop towards the family member. So all this happens out of anger, out of frustration. So this is the second part of grief. And the third one is bargaining. So they will try to do certain things. They will tell, if God did this to me, if I did something to the God, God will make my son recover soon. So we'll be doing certain pujas and many things we'll be doing, right? If I did this, I'll do fasting, my son will be recovered soon. So those all things we bargain ourselves rather than accepting the illness. Then the fourth one is depression. So it is like we are sinking into the reality. There will be an emptiness. So what to do? So we'll be feeling very hopeless, nobody is there to help out. So there is no solution for it. So in the fourth stage, we'll have a sense of depression. At last is acceptance. So nothing to do with this. So the loss has happened. So what we have to do? We have to accept it. So rather than looking backward, it will be better if we move forward and what can be done in supporting the recovery of the client. Okay. So any doubts in this cycle? So the first one is denial. Second one, anger. Third one, bargaining. Fourth one, depression. Fifth one is acceptance. Just imagine climbing a mountain. So first, what we do? Oh, we can't do it. It is very, it's very huge. I can't climb it. So there, it will be a denial. Then, when you are not able to do it, then the struggle comes. What do you do? Why I can't be able to do it? Why it is so difficult? So you will be getting that frustration. It reflects in anger. Third one is bargaining. So if I do this, I can get this. So if only, the thoughts will be, if I do this, I will be getting this. So that thought will be there. Fourth one, I can't do it. Let me be here only. I'll be at the lower portion itself. So that we can't, we'll be suppressed into depression, the emptiness. At last, once we find, okay, I can do this. If I go like this, I can understand. So finding out some ways to reach the goal. So that is acceptance. Any doubt on this topic? Right? Okay, we'll move on to the next topic. So under acceptance, there are two categories. One is bane and another one is boon. So bane means the difficulties. Accepting, like many people might have suffered certain difficulties, challenges in accepting, because you people have shared all your experience like thorn, bud, rose. So like that, acceptance as a bane. Why do you think that non-acceptance is beneficial? So in the initial stage, it will be very difficult for you to understand the things and accepting things, right? So how do you feel it in the initial stage? So very okay, I'm fine. So how do you use the denial? So how it was helpful? Anyone? Initially, obviously you felt certain feelings, right? The denial. We all use the defense mechanism, denial. Because no, this is not true. This is something else. This is out of stress. This is out of laziness. So we all felt that. So in that way, and also it will act as a relaxation. When we least bother something, we won't get, all the frustration. If something is there, something is bothering, when we give our full focus, we'll be getting worried, we'll be depressed. When we least bother, if a person is shutting himself inside a room, so if you think, okay, he might feel bored or something, so we'll be ignore it. So when we consider that, it will be a stress for us. Oh, something happened, what the society will think, what I will be doing with my family, what the neighbors will know about this. So all these thoughts will test us continuously. Okay. So in that way, we think that okay, we don't need to accept it. So we use the denial as a defense mechanism. Okay. And also by denying there are certain psychosocial problems. So when we are denying, we are not accepting. So these are all the problems. There will be caregiver burden. So you will be taken to the hospital, it will be very difficult for you. You will be thinking about the financial strains. Then transport, you have to travel here and there, you consult the best doctor. Then family conflict, there won't be a proper understanding of the family. IPL issues will be there in the family. And unpredictable behavior. You might not know when they behave, how. So all these psychosocial problems will happen and then there is a non-acceptance. Okay. So moving on to acceptance. Okay. So moving on to acceptance. So once we accept, what are all the beneficial things? First one, it will reduce stress. So once you understand what is the actual problem, you will feel relief. Okay, this is the problem. We have to do this. So there will be a proper plan. The next one is improves patient's recovery. So when you are support, because you all came here on behalf of your family members. So when you help them to understand certain things and when you have the acceptance, it will help the patient to improve more. Okay? Then the third one is better treatment analysis. Fourth one, strong family bond. So when you understand something, when you know what when you value your family member, it will build your relationship. Then break stigma, then caregiver relief, and it will enhance social support. Okay? So moving to the next, there are certain research evidence. So in Netherlands, they have conducted a research on supportive acceptance. It shows that there is 30 to 40% fewer hospitalization in the condition of schizophrenia. When acceptance is there, the hospitalization is fewer. And also there is one more study on family psychoeducation. So it replicates there will be 35% improvement in medical compliance, 31% improvement in patient self-esteem, and 30% reduction in caregiver burden. So there is an evidence-based where so there's an evidence where acceptance helps us in certain way. So to conclude with this, denial, it is normal, like everyone has a denial. So for example, even if we copy in our exam, if teacher asks, will you be able to accept it? If you copy in an exam, or else you see someone else, you're peeping into someone's paper, when teacher asks, will you accept it? We will do it, but still, we deny. So from school days it's a caring, but when it comes to a family member, you should not make it as a big thing. So once you accept, it will be, very supportive to the family. And also we can understand everyone have financial burdens, then social burdens, so many burdens are there. But once you stand by your family, so it's a bigger support for them. So once they feel that safer in your hands, then it is the greatest achievement. And one more thing, your willingness. So you all came here, right? It is also a first step of acceptance. Okay? So we have to help the clients who are having that I can't do anything, so nobody is supporting me. So as a family, if we support them, it will be very helpful in their treatment recovery. Thank you. So over to Rishi.
Hello, my name is Rishi, and I hope we got a little understanding about why we are talking about acceptance today. We did not prepare this from any textbook or any research itself. We spoke to the mental health professionals and Cadabams. We went to all the psychiatric case managers, we went to the clinical psychologists and the counselors, and we took a comprehensive understanding of what are some of the challenges that family face in reaching to a point of acceptance. Right? How many of us have had this before? How many of us, I know right now we might be somewhere between acceptance and non-acceptance, but there might have been a stage in our lives when we found it difficult to believe that, oh, one of our family members is having this. How can this be? Right? I believe all of us must have been in that place. Okay? So first, before we begin into what are the challenges, I want to understand what was your first reaction, first emotional reaction that you had when you got to know your loved one had a mental illness? Any emotion, in one word.
Denial.
Denial. Maybe anything that comes to your mind.
It will get all right.
Anger.
It will get all right.
Why with us? Why me? Is the question, okay? What else? What about you, sir? How did you feel?
Helplessness.
Helplessness. Sir? Sadness. Alright. So, moving to the next slide. Based on research articles, all of the points that you have mentioned, we have found all of them on the articles. First, feelings of helplessness, sadness, grief. First, grief reaction, right? We feel a sense of devastation, a sense of sadness, especially when you compare your loved ones with that of others. Oh, how they are different. I wish my child was like that. I wish my wife was like that. Right? We have all been in that place. Moving on, next kind of emotion that is felt is self-blame or guilt. Why me? Why us? Did I do something wrong? Right? Maybe we should have seen these signs earlier. Okay, self-blame. We start looking for reasons or explanations to for a reality that seems very unacceptable to us. You know what that is called? It's a defense mechanism. We call it rationalization. Rationalization means, okay, defense mechanism. What is defense mechanism according to you? What is your understanding? There are no right or wrong answers. Okay, we are a small group here. Nobody is going to judge us, so we can open up. What is your understanding of the defense mechanism?
Supporting our thought process.
Supporting our thought process. It's something that protects us from stress. We put up a barrier, we put up a defense just to protect ourselves from anything that threatens us. Okay? So rationalization, we look for explanation, we look for reasons. In fact, we look for someone or something to put the blame on in order to get rid of our own guilt. Right? So I found this excerpt from a research article. It's about a family member who says, my father always says that we felt the difference gradually. She started to lock herself in a room, and then he says, that he neglected the signs, that if he had seen them earlier, she would not be this way today. This is one of the examples of how self-blame sets in the earlier stages. Right? Moving on, we have rejection or denial, like most of us have already experienced, a defense mechanism. Fear or anxiety. Fear, what the society will think. Log kya kahenge is the big question. Okay? That question will come to why all these emotional reactions come into picture. Okay? How will society treat them? The amount of violence that is put against people with psychiatric illness is huge. And that's why the fear. He breaks things inside the house, the glass kitchen is broken, we have only one car that we divide. The inappropriate or inadequate behaviors of the client itself sets in fears for us. Okay. Moving on, we have shame or embarrassment. Where does that come from? Okay. My brother called me as a mental girl, and it hurt me badly. वो तो पागल है, okay? उसको दौरे लग गए हैं. People in the society, especially in the Indian culture, they have termed them as mad people. Don't be after them. Okay? So, where do you think all these emotional reactions come in people? Any insights? Where do we get these emotional reactions from? Does the society fear us?
How the society is accepting, how they are going to take it up.
Yes. Stigma. Internalized stigma. Okay. Stigma that has been instilled by the society as well as the media. Society, by we have a prestige, family prestige, we have a social status. Okay, what will people think of us? Okay, and someone who is not like us is not to be around us, is not meant to be with us. So what we do is we neglect them, we stay away from them. Okay, and we tend to become hostile towards them. Okay, we talk a little more about emotions here. Okay, in some time actually. Okay. Media. Why media has a role to play in internalized stigma?
Stereotype.
Stereotype.
So movies, televisions, okay, TV serials and all, the kind of shock therapy and all they show, the kind of mad people they make, okay, the way we portray mental illnesses in itself puts a picture in our minds saying that, okay, how can my child be mad? How can my child be psycho? You know, we have some families coming here sometimes and they be like, my child is not like this. My child is not like that. We have heard that a lot of times. Is this place suitable for my child? Okay. Sometimes we also, what do you say, we try to underestimate the capabilities or the potentialities of clients, okay, such that the public institutions do not provide any employment for them, making them financially, putting them in a financial crisis and therefore increasing the stress of the family itself, and therefore what leads is a family level of non-acceptance, right? Okay, we are uninformed about the limitations and potentialities of these patients. We underestimate them. High expressed emotion is another factor that has a role to play in non-acceptance. Okay? Expressed emotion is something families project or show towards their loved ones. Okay? The feelings, the attitudes, or the thoughts that they project towards their loved ones is called as expressed emotions. There are different types. Okay? First one is positive regards. You show positive level of unconditional acceptance, unconditional love towards them. No matter what it is, you love them. Second is criticality. Okay, you're critical towards them. Whatever they do, you just despise them. Third, hostility. Hostility is you show anger towards them. So it is over-involvement. They to become over-involved in their own decision-making, whatever they're doing, everything you just want to be a part of it. Although we do this all out of love, right, we sometimes tend to forget our boundaries. Right? We don't know how it affects them. In fact, in our own Indian culture, there was a study done in North India by a foreigner. He observed that all these mental health institutions, these hospitals, are flooded by families more than the patients. Right? Because in our culture there's a deep sense of responsibility instilled in us from our childhood, saying that you have to take care of your family no matter what. We have a collectivistic culture. Right? In fact, when you go to Western culture, you see just single patients there with an outsourced caretaker taking care of them, and families being busy in other things. So this is a good thing about our Indian culture, right? In fact, joint families, they tend to show higher level of acceptance towards mental illnesses. Okay, so why is higher levels of expressed emotion a negative factor here? Is because when we love our family members, we try to over-invest in them. We over-invest, we try to put in everything that we can to just take care of them, forgetting our own quality of life, forgetting our own desires, our own ambitions. Okay, that leads to what? An increased amount of stress, increased amount of burden. In the end, what? You tend to display your anger towards them, saying that because of you, I'm not this, because of you, I'm suffering. Right? And this is why Assault says, higher the expressed emotion, lower will be the level of acceptance. I hope I made myself clear. And I'm not stating it from anywhere. We have put the research articles down. If you're free, you can go back and read it. Poor emotional intelligence. What according to you is emotional intelligence? going to control their emotions. Having been aware of your own emotions as well as the emotions of others. Why is this an important factor, do you think? I know I'm asking a lot of questions because it's a small group and you can have more discussion.
It's maturity. It's a maturity.
Having an emotional maturity. Because what happens is when you are aware, we as family members are aware of our own emotions, we're able to regulate our emotions when there is a crisis situation, especially when the client is showing all this, displaying all those symptoms, okay, that are triggering us. We know how to regulate ourselves. Right? When we know how to regulate ourselves, we know how to show, we know how to empathize with them, we know how to understand them, and therefore we show acceptance. Right? So higher the level of emotional intelligence, the more likely we are to have demonstrated greater acceptance. Cultural beliefs. I know it's a very sensitive topic. I hope nobody is feeling triggered as of now. Alright? Cultural beliefs. The first thing when we see that our family members seem a little different, but where is the first place you all go to? Where was the first place you all approached? Temples, God. Yes. So even research says that first place everybody goes to is faith healers or religious leaders. That's a protective factor, nothing wrong. Okay? But eventually we lead up to come up to these places as our understanding of illnesses increases. As we understand that there is no spiritual basis to it, rather it is more psychological, more biological, or rather social. Right? So things like, I'm not trying to put down any of their beliefs, okay, but things like maybe karma, black magic, all these occult practices, okay, these are all cultural beliefs that sometimes might hinder our level of acceptance. Okay. Poor social or community support. Okay. The first reaction, brief reaction, feeling of helplessness. Why? It sets in because you feel that we are alone in this journey of treatment. Okay? Sometimes our own family members or extended family members are not there to support us. Right? We are all alone in this battle. We all alone have to go through consultations, come back, take care of them, take them to consultations, give them medicines, do everything for them. And that in itself is burdening for us. Caregiver burden increases as a result. Poor understanding about the illness or confusion about the symptoms. Not having clarity about whether it is a symptom or whether it is just bad behavior. Okay. Just a few weeks back I met a family. They told me she's being lazy. Because if she's being lazy, that's why she's having all these issues. But they fail to understand that because of the biological processes or psychological processes, she has developed poor motivation. Or there's a loss of interest in activities as a result of disturbance in the biology. She's not lazy, but there is loss of interest, poor motivation. So a confusion, accessibility and affordability. Right? Not everybody can access or afford going to healthcare services. Right? The fact that our loved ones are here is a privilege. They have a privilege that they all are getting treatment at the right time and they're doing well. So those who are not able to access, who are not able to afford, they move towards a level of non-acceptance. They say that no, maybe this is just bad behavior, maybe this is just her laziness. Okay.
Myself, Anusha. So, I hope you understood about what are the points that are discussed by Ms. Pooja and Ms. Suji. What is meant by acceptance and what all are the challenges that are faced by the family members. So today I am going to discuss about how can we inculcate acceptance within the family members. Okay, so before going to the point, what is acceptance? It is not a one-time decision. It is a journey. So it requires more understanding, more openness. If we have more understanding and more Okay, so you all know about family session and psychoeducation. So what we are usually will do from here is, after getting an admission, in the first month onwards, we used to conduct family session. Because of the family will be having less knowledge about mental health condition, and they will not be aware about what my client is going through. Okay, so the clinical psychologists, the psychiatric social workers, the counselors, and the entire treating team will be there to guide them appropriately. So during the family session, they will get an idea about what is mental health condition, how can we manage our client after the discharge and all. So these two resources like psychoeducation, family session, reliable resources that will help us to gain more knowledge about the mental health condition. Okay, moving to the next one. Talk openly about mental health with others. So we know that most of us are not able to talk about mental health condition. Why? Maybe we are not aware about what is mental health condition. Maybe there will be some stigmas. Okay, so in that case, we have to try to educate ourselves. Later, be an advocate for others. Then we can aware others what is mental health condition. Okay, this kind of things will help the younger people, those who are coming, and the eldest one also. The how much we are talking about mental health condition, the less stigma. Okay, if you want to remove the stigma, we have to know more about mental health condition. We have to aware others also. If we are under mental health condition and the others are not aware about this, there will be no use. So we have to educate them also. So next one. Avoid self-blame. So most of us believe that this psychiatric illness is causing due to personal failure. So that is exactly a wrong thing. It is not because of personal failure of an individual. There will be biopsychosocial model, biological, psychological, and social factors will be there. So we cannot blame an individual that this is because of your personal failure. Instead of that, we can say that it is a hard situation. We can understand your situation. So we will be with you. We can face it together. That is the right thing we can help to our family members or those who are having this kind of issue. Okay. Next one. Focus on the strength and progress of the client. Okay. What do you mean by focus on the strength and progress of the client? How can we understand the client is progressing or not? Anything notice? Most of the family members will take the client for some LOA leave of absence. Okay, during that period we can understand whether the client is progressing or not. Or other situation I can explain to you. If a client is isolating themselves and trying to attend a dinner together with family or trying to mingle with other family members, that is a minor thing, but that is a basic progress from the client. Okay, so the initial progress we have to address it, we have to educate and promote the client, encourage the client to attend all those things. Then if we are being with the client, he or she will be feeling safe, and if they are feeling that they are getting proper care and love, then they will try to improve more in their life. Okay, then seek individual family therapy or support group. Not only about the clients, about the family also. Most of the families will feel burdens of it. Maybe some stresses will be there, financial stresses or something will be there. So how can we address those kind of issues? So first one is family therapy or support groups. Already we have discussed about family therapy. So the clinical psychologists, psychiatric social workers, and other treating things will be there. So if the family is talking with he is taking proper treatment and care. Instead of saying he or she is mad, we can tell they are undergoing through some treatment. So, how we are getting the respect from others, like the same way we have to give the respect to the others also. Then, educate older generation who might have cultural or generational biases. So maybe our elder ones will say that mental health condition means laziness and all. So we have to educate them that it is not a laziness. Because of they are undergoing through some mental health condition, they are taking some treatment. Because of that reason, they are unable to perform like how we are. Okay. Then encourage young generation to be open and sensitive. So most of our upcoming generation are not aware about what is mental health condition. Maybe they are might undergo through this kind of situation, but they are not aware. So what we can do as a family member, as a friend, as a colleague, we can educate them. This is meant by mental health condition. So whenever you are feeling any kind of issues, you have to deal with your family. So your family will be involving with some other caring team. They will be helping you to overcome this kind of issues. So we have to encourage the youth people. So if they are getting an idea about what is mental health, then it will be useful for their generation also. Move to the next point. Set realistic expectations. In this case, I just want to know your thoughts or your points. Okay, when your client got admitted for the first day, what was your expectation? So, anybody please explain. What was your first expectation? Improvement. Okay.
She will settle down in the place.
Improvement and she will settle down in the place. Anybody else? Faster recovery. Okay. Okay. So, what I can tell you that do not expect that the client will go back to the same situation how they were before the onset of illness. So, recovery will be depends upon the client condition. Okay, maybe some of the clients will be having chronic cases, maybe starting stages and all. So the recovery will be depends upon the client condition. So we cannot expect that the client will do whatever they did in the previous stage. Okay, then recovery is not a linear. There will be some ups and downs. Like what I explained in the first stage, like physical health condition, mental health condition, it's like same. If they are taking proper medication, there will be no variations. So in the state, some variations will be there, like up and down. We don't know when the symptoms will get relapsed. So we can predict that. So moving to the next point. Acceptance is a slow process. So it will take a long time that we have to accept. Okay, so acceptance in the sense is like a long process. What is the reality that we have to understand, we have to accept as it is.
hope families are taking slightly of the understanding of the topic acceptance. I hope all the family members have understand. May I see the hands raising up who have understand about the topic, today's topic? And any feedback anyone to give? So he's saying that acceptance is a boom and it also was a part of the stages of the grief, right? We were talking all these stages by Kubler-Ross and all these psychologists in the research. Also from this today's session we get to know this acceptance is also a part of the grief cycle, right? So I'd like to start from Pooja. I think what she has explained about acceptance. Acceptance is one of the important stages of grief cycle. What are various psychosocial problems that we see if there is lesser acceptance in the family? What sort of psychosocial factors or problems that we can see? Any guess? We see decrease in quality of life. The person suffering with mental illness or psychiatric illness will have poor quality of life if they are not accessible. They are not approachable to mental health professionals. If they are not able to access to family members who can extend their hands, right? So the quality of life will decrease. Then stigma and discrimination. Not only the stigma for the individual, but also for the family members, right? So all these factors will be affected when there is a lack of acceptance in the family members, especially.